The wind swept through the narrow college lane, tugging at posters half torn from the announcement board. Some advertised summer jobs, some promoted concerts. Others were nothing more than lost cat signs. But one particular notice, scribbled on a yellowing scrap of paper, carried a story waiting to unfold. Room for rent. Quiet neighborhood. Affordable. Call Adam. Rachel Morgan stopped in her tracks. Her hazel eyes lingered on the words. Her classmates would have laughed. Who even respond to these anymore? But Rachel wasn't like them. She traced a faint ink with her fingertip as though fate itself had written the words for her. She dialed number. Hello. The voice was deep, tired, cautious. Hi, I saw your notice. Is the room still available? Was. So long she thought she had the wrong number. Yes, came the quiet reply. You can come by today if you'd like. Rachel ended the call with her heart pounding. She had no idea how much that torn piece of paper was about to change her life. Adam Carter's house stood at the far end of Willow Lane. Humble, worn, yet filled with a lived-in warmth. For Adam, renting out the upstairs portion wasn't choice. It was survival. At 38, he was a widower, juggling bills, rent, and the boundless energy of his 8-year-old daughter, Emma. His modest clerk job barely covered their needs. The upstairs room, once his wife's art studio, had sat empty for years. It felt wrong to let a stranger in, but he had no other option. That afternoon, Rachel arrived with a small suitcase. She had grown up in limousines behind gates guarded by security men. Yet here she was, standing nervously at a chipped wooden door, far from the marble halls of her father's mansion. The door creaked open. Adam stood there, sleeves rolled, hair slightly unkempt, eyes kind but wary. You're Rachel. She nodded. Before he could say more, a small figure peeked out from behind his legs. Big brown eyes, messy pigtails, a stuffed rab in her arms. Daddy, is she the one? Emma whispered loudly. Rachel chuckled, bending down. Hi, I'm Rachel. Emma studied her, then grinned. You can stay. You look nice. Adam sighed, embarrassed, but Rachel's smile softened the awkwardness. That was how her new life in the Carter house began. The upstairs room was plain, bare walls, thin curtains, a single bed. For most students maybe too plain, but for Rachel it was perfect. I'll keep the rent fair, Adam said, lingering in the doorway. And if you need anything, just knock. Rachel met his gaze with unusual steadiness. Thank you. I think this will work. She didn't tell him she was a daughter of Richard Morgan, one of the city's richest businessmen. She didn't tell him she could afford a luxury apartment downtown. She didn't want luxury. She wanted freedom. She wanted normal. That night, she lay awake on the creaking bed, listening to laughter drifting from downstairs. A warmth stirred in her chest, something she hadn't felt in years. The next morning, the smell of pancakes pulled Rachel downstairs. Emma sat swinging her legs at the small kitchen table while Adam flipped pancakes on an old skillet. Good morning, Rachel. Emma waved her fork like a wand. Adam glanced up. You don't have to come down. Your portion has its own kitchen. Rachel smiled. I thought maybe I could help. Help. Adam raised a brow. You're a tenant, not a cook, but Emma jumped in. Can she help me with homework instead? Daddy, please. Rachel crouched beside her. What homework? Math. Emma groaned. It's evil. Rachel laughed. I used to think so too. That was the first threat of a bond that would grow stronger than any of them expected. Rachel settled quickly into their lives. Mornings, college afternoons back at the Carter house. Evenings often spent helping Emma with schoolwork or reading bedtime stories when Adam worked late. It wasn't long before Emma started calling her big sister. Adam noticed more than he said. Rachel's phone, sleek and expensive, sometimes buzzed with messages about galas and board meetings. Her posture, her manners, her quiet grace. It all hinted at a life far beyond struggling student. And then there were the little things. Groceries that suddenly appeared on the counter. School supplies slipped into Emma's bag. A mechanic fixing Adam's car with money that Rachel disguised as a college refund. Adam wasn't fooled. His pride battled with gratitude, but he let her kindness stand because Rachel never made them feel small. One Saturday, Emma tugged Rachel's sleeve. "Daddy said, we can't go to the fun fair. Tickets cost too much." "But I don't mind." Her voice wavered, but her brave little smile broke Rachel's heart. The following week, Emma squealed with delight as they entered the fairgrounds together. "Daddy, Rachel, look." Adam frowned at the tickets. "How did you?" "Free passes for my college." Rachel lied smoothly. He narrowed his eyes, but Emma's laughter was too precious to ruin with suspicion. That night, Emma hugged Rachel tightly. "You're the best." Adam stood in the doorway watching, his heart heavier and lighter all at once. One evening after Emma had gone to bed, Adam found Rachel sitting on the porch, gazing at the stars. "Do you like it here?" he asked. Rachel turned, her eyes soft in the porch light. "More than I thought I would. Most students don't want to live in an old creaky house with a single dad and a kid." She smiled faintly. "Most students aren't looking for what I'm looking for." "And what's that?" Rachel hesitated, then whispered. "A place that feels like home." Adam didn't press further, but her words stayed with him long after he went inside. Rachel's hidden world slipped through the cracks. Emma once asked if she'd ever been to a fancy restaurant. Rachel smiled knowingly but didn't answer. Another time her phone flashed with a call label father. She silenced it instantly. Adam began to wonder. But every time Emma's laughter echoed because of Rachel. He decided not to ask. Some mysteries didn't need solving. The secret came crashing down on a quiet Sunday. Emma was drawing rainbows while Rachel helped Adam fix a leaky faucet. The air was filled with simple ordinary warmth until a glossy black car rolled up outside. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains. That car didn't belong on their street. The door opened. A tall man in a tailored suit stepped out. His silver hair gleamed. His presence commanded the air itself. Rachel froze. Her father, Richard Morgan. "Rachel." His voice was sharp-cutting. "I've been looking everywhere for you." Emma blinked in confusion. Adam stepped protectively in front of her. "Who are you?" Richard's gaze landed on Adam, then softened briefly at Emma before snapping back to Rachel. "I'm her father, and she has no business living in a place like this." The neighbors gasped. Adam turned to Rachel, his world tilting. Rachel's throat tightened. She nodded slowly. "He's my dad." "Pack your things, Rachel," Richard ordered. "You're coming home. Enough of this raid." Rachel shook her head. "Not yet." Richard's jaw tightened. "You've been living here." He gestured with disdain. "When you have everything waiting for you at home, a mansion, comfort, security." Rachel's voice trembled, but her resolve held. "That's just walls and money. Here I found something more." Emma clutched her hand. "Don't go, Rachel." Richard's glare flicked Adam. "This man can't give you the life you deserve." Adam bristled. "I never claimed I could, but she's been safe here. Respected." Rachel stepped forward, her voice breaking. "Dad, you don't understand. Adam and Emma gave me something our mansion never could. Warmth. Belonging." Silence fell. The weight of truth filled the room. That night, the house fell heavy. Adam sat at his desk, staring at unpaid bills. Rachel lingered by the window, torn between two worlds. Emma clutched her stuffed rabbit, sensing everything. Finally, Adam spoke. "Rachel, your father's right. You don't belong here." Her heart clenched. "Don't say that. I chose to be here with you. With Emma, you're different," he said softly. "Anyone can see it. I should have guessed you weren't just another student. So what if I'm different?" She whispered. "That doesn't change how I feel about this place." Adam's eyes darkened. "You deserve more than creaky floors and patched shoes. You deserve safety, comfort, things I can't give you." Rachel's voice cracked. "Do you think comfort matters more than love?" At that, Emma burst into tears. "But Daddy, you give me everything. And Rachel makes us happy. Please don't make her go." Adam's chest ached. Rachel hugged Emma tightly, whispering, I'm not going anywhere, sweetheart. For the first time, Adam allowed himself to hope she meant it. The next morning, Richard returned. This time without sharpness. His suit jacket hung over his arm. His face lined with exhaustion. "Rachel," he said softly, "I don't understand why you chose this life, but I see now you found something here. Something money never gave you." Her eyes widened. "You mean you'll let me stay?" Richard hesitated, then nodded. "If this is what you want." "Yes, but at least let me make sure you're cared for." His gaze shifted to Adam. "And you? You've given my daughter something I could not belonging." Adam stiffened. "I didn't do anything extraordinary." Richard shook his head. "Extraordinary doesn't always mean expensive. Sometimes it's simply human." The room softened with fragile peace. Life resumed, but different now. Rachel continued college, still living upstairs. Emma thrived, boasting new school supplies and shoes, though her favorite part was still Rachel's bedtime stories. Adam worked, still tired. But each evening, he returned to laughter in the house. He no longer saw Rachel as just a tenant. She was family. One night at dinner, Emma grinned. "This feels like forever, doesn't it?" Adam chuckled. "What do you mean, sweetheart? Like Rachel will always be here. Like we're a real family." Rachel's throat tightened, but she smiled. "Maybe forever starts with moments like this." Outside, Richard Morgan stood quietly by his car, watching through the window. For the first time in years, he saw his daughter truly happy. And he whispered to himself, perhaps she was right all along. Inside the Carter house, there were no chandeliers, no servants, no marble halls, just 3 people sharing soup, laughter and warmth. And Rachel realized a truth she had been chasing all along. Sometimes the greatest treasures are not found in fortune, but in the hearts that open their doors. Best gifts for your loved ones.